Greetings. Welcome back to Lantern Bridge. Checking my mic here. Test, 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 test. So yeah, I was talking with one of my best friends. He's a Catholic priest. He's about 70 years old. And he was telling me about how his neighbor just, she had just moved and parked her car on her old street stupidly. She left it for 2 weeks. She knew the neighbors, and she returned to the car. Well, tried to. No car. The neighbors claimed to not know anything, but then the videos came out, and it seemed the neighbors were maybe in on it. What happened was the car was found a state over in New South Wales. We're in Victoria here in Melbourne. She had to do all this work herself. The police would do nothing. Those neighbors of hers that she knew for 15 years helped the tow truck, which had no markings. It was black. And it was a scam. No offense, but it was an old, a guy who's been here for 60 years from Italy. And it was just some sort of, hey, Joe, I know you got the tow truck. You do things, give me some kickback, and here's a brand new car for you. Here's the point. The police would do nothing. When they finally got the video, they said, oh, there's no markings on this. You're on your own. She tracked it down herself. She confronted the guy who bought it. He must have been in on it. He gave the car back. It took 6 weeks. Police did nothing. The police in Melbourne do nothing. Now, that's just one car. A couple years ago, we had across from our house, across the street, a Airbnb, and it was an illegal brothel. There was a little red lamp that would come on. Now, next to this brothel, illegal brothel on a suburban street, next door were two little Asian girls. I believe at the time, 4 and 6 years old. The ads, we would find the ads. We created like a neighborhood watch, and they would find the ads. It was all Asian girls across the street. We called the council, multiple faxes, letters, phone calls, all ignored. We called the police. I called the police many times. I spoke with a woman police officer, and she said, well, we can't just rush in there. We might lose our jobs. What is the point of your job? You're letting these weirdos, we're constantly on our street, motorcycles, weird guys in sports cars creeping around, because the ad wouldn't put the exact address on. So they would just creep around until they found the lamp, the red light in the window. With little girls day and night. Little girls next door. Little girls across the street next to me. My son was just a little kid. They would do nothing. You know what? I finally got a hold of the sergeant. You know what he told me? Put your phone on record and go in there and get evidence. I used to think that America, I was like, I loved Australia. Australia is the future of America, I was hoping. You're not allowed to have guns, the crime rate low, no shootings. Then that pandemic hit, man. And we got separated and bossed around and told what to do and put in fear. If we don't follow the rules, we're endangering our families and our fellow citizens. We weren't allowed outside. We were allowed like 3 hours a day. And if you were caught more than 3K or so around from beyond the radius of your home without being on business, you would get a like $2,000 fine or something like around there, at least 1,500, I think, just for driving. I got so frustrated. I took my Rottweiler, God rest her soul, Sheba, who died last month, and a hammer. And I went to that brothel and I'm pounding on the door with my fist, not the hammer. The hammer was hidden. I lost my mind. I am a protector to my family and secondarily to the neighborhood. It was 2 years. They did nothing. The police, nothing. They should have broke in the middle of the night, pulled them out, taken them out into the freaking backwoods, beat the shit out of them, not the whores, the pimps, and dumped them. And again, they were fucking cowards. So I lost my mind. And I went over there and I swear to you, if I was going to burst in, find the pimps and drag them into the road and beat them so bad, they would need to go to the hospital. And I've already have been to the media and they did 2 stories. So one story was just about it. And that led to me being mentioned in the House of Parliament from Bernie Finn, who's kind of an out there crazy Trumper type Australian who they kicked out. But he's the only one who actually stood up and cared. The weirdo guy is the only one. He said, Brad says, council's not helping. The police aren't helping. I'm not surprised, he said. There's a brothel next to little kids and no one is doing anything. I contacted the CEO of Airbnb Australia. No response from her. I got her direct message line through LinkedIn Recruiter because I used to do recruitment. So I went over there, endangering my life and others from frustration. Don't do that. Don't take the law into your own hands. They wouldn't open the door. I wasn't like, I was acting like a customer, but my plan was violence from frustration. Finally, we got him out. Someone said they heard a scream. So I called and I said, yeah, I heard I heard women screaming. I think the pimps are beating the shit out of these girls. Finally. And yeah, I lied. Fuck them. Finally, we got like 3 police cruisers. They wouldn't open the door. They smashed it in. The pimps, who are South Sudanese, because Australia took in all these refugees, these war-torn South Sudanese, killing themselves with machetes and pimping. What do you think they're going to do when we get them? They don't know anything else. And they can't be most of them could not get into the education program. So what did they do? Form new gangs. And this is what we're dealing with now. And I put my life in danger. Now, they opened up the garage. It's full of sheets, like 10 sheets, bed sheets hanging. So the policeman says, what you thought was happening is happening. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Thanks for waiting 2 years. If they would have just swooped in the fucking first day, the fucking first call, but they might they might get hurt. You put on a wire and do our work for us and give us that, and maybe we'll think about it in 2 years. And then when I talked to this idiot sergeant, he said, well, we have gone in before and arrested the girls. How stupid are you? It's not the women that are brought in from China and Vietnam and wherever, Philippines. They're arresting these poor women. You got to go to the head of the Hydra, the heart of the Hydra. The heads just keep popping up. The heart are the pimps, and behind them, the mafia. So anyway, the cops swoop down, and eventually this huge truck. I mean, the wheels were huge with gold rims, black windows. The South Sudanese gang leaders. And I'm like, fuck me. I'm really in danger. I endangered my family for these, these guys. There was a neighbor who had a friend they were beating some woman, and he tried to intervene, and they cut his leg. It got the femoral artery. He died in that street. So, this is my background with it, and I'm not going to interfere with these jack bastards ever again. The neighbors were like, when I finally got rid of them, I'm the one who brought the news. I'm the one who went over there physically, endangering myself. And all these freaking neighbors, 90% of them are Indian, and they were all like, office workers. I sent them a very strongly worded letter to the council. Oh, you did? Your child is there. The pimps, the drugs, selling drugs, prostitutes, weirdo molesters coming down our road. And you wrote a fax letter. Oh, you faxed the council. So I get them out, and what happens? I get those pimps out. I get the whores out of our street. Someone had to. And I risked myself. What did they do? They had a little, because we were all on the neighborhood phone thing, the neighborhood watch. Everyone worked so well, and we finally got rid of them. The Airbnb has been sold. I had enough of all of them. They were useless. Cowards, not men. Now, I went too far because I put my own family in danger because I lost it. This is before my meditation. I told them, I go, you guys did nothing. You sent faxes. And I re-outlined everything I did. I'm the one who got it brought up to Parliament, and still nothing happened. So that's the background and the lessons learned. And this goes back to neighborhood, community. If everybody had just gathered around and broken that door down and pulled them out and called the police, what are they going to do? Arrest everyone on the street? People are complacent. We are whipped dogs here in Australia. Now, to my American audience, I'm American and Australian. I got Australian citizenship, 4 years ago or so. And I have changed my mind about guns. America has gone too far. I mean, it's over. There's so many guns, you can't control it. Now, Australia went too far the other way. We can't have any guns for self-protection. Now, I think there's a middle way. There are safes that you can open almost instantly. It's a fingerprint thing and it can open. It should be in a safe. So that, you need it. You can't separate the ammunition and that, if someone breaks in your house, they're going to kill you by the time you get your guns. Have that safe. You have to have training every year. You have to have a psych evaluation. If you have committed any felonies, you can't have a gun. Now they have a thing. You can have guns in Australia for shooting, like target shooting, or if you're a farmer. But then the police can at any time go into your house and check your safe. They can also pull you over anytime. They have checkpoints. And even though you haven't swerved or anything, they can randomly look into your car. So this is part of the Australian submissive culture. And I'm not going to tell you who said this, but a friend of mine had said, Australians are spawn of convicts and whores. So what happened was, Australia was built from the convict culture, and they would whip people to death. The only people who survived were submissive to the whip. That is Australian culture. Their culture, from speeding fines, they've got cameras everywhere. I'm not joking you. Their limit, how in America, you can kind of go up to about 10 miles per hour over. That's over 20K over the speed limit. As long as you're in that range, you're okay in most cases. Here, it's 3 kilometers an hour. Kilometers an hour. That's about 2 miles per hour, if that, Cameras everywhere. I've had so many speeding tickets. It's just like an extra tax to me. I've had to learn, but there's always like, if you don't know the route and where the cameras are, I was turning and it just turned red just as I was going, and they got me $800. And I wasn't going through a red. I just missed that yellow as I'm turning right. So it's reversed. It'd be like turning left in America. The prosecutor, a cop, said, this isn't a big deal crime. He goes, I do this crime about 3 times a week. I just don't do it in front of a camera. The judges are not elected. They're in on it. I've never had any mercy. No circumstance. It's all one woman, with her headscarf, a judge. I had a $500 fine and very minor speeding, I believe. Yeah, what it was I had to jam up quick from the light to be able to turn left onto the highway, and there was hardly any room, and I jammed in. Otherwise, I'd be cut off. I couldn't get on the highway. She didn't care. She goes, oh, I'm told you can work it off by volunteering. So they say. Like that. They're not elected. They're appointed by politicians. So now, cut to today. Where are we today, folks? In our safe, top place to live in the world, Melbourne, Australia, that I used to love, that I left an art career potential to work a corporate job, which was mind-destroying and ruinous to me because I loved Australia so much. The culture, free healthcare, the melting pot, everything was pretty good. Cut to today. Cut, literally. There was at the mall, which is about, 3 miles from me, right near my son's school, a boy chased through the mall by 5 guys with machetes, obvious South Sudanese. They're real hard to tell who they are because they're about 7'8" tall. I won't go into it, but yeah, through a mall, chasing another South Sudanese black boy. Chased him through the mall into the parking lot. They chopped him with machetes. Across a block over. This was just before the pandemic when this started. We had these South Sudanese refugees. They love the machete. They made a mistake on the house or something. Some Chinese guy, he was up on the 2nd floor. 4 or 5 broke in with machetes. He had to jump out his fucking window. Right behind me. I've got illegal brothels run by South Sudanese. I got this. I love South Sudanese people. Family-oriented, hardworking. But then there's this this other element that they brought from that war that they were refugees from. So there is it came into effect in September, I think, maybe October 1st, a machete law. So they had all these bins, and you have to put your machete in there if you've got one. If you're caught, it's like a $20,000 fine and so many years, like 15 years in jail or some crap. I don't even believe it. I had a machete because I had these dealings with these pimps. So right by my fucking door, I've got a little alcove with a beautiful Fiji mask, and above the Fiji mask is this Fiji club. We went to Fiji. In the alcove next to the mask, this fucking awesome machete, $90, modern, sharp as hell. And you know what I did with it? I used it every month. We've got this rose bush, and its tendrils like jut out toward the front door, and like you can snap. So every month I'd come out with my machete and hack the rose bush. But also, if you broke through my house, like I can't, you call me at the front door and you break through, one of you is going to die. Yeah, I might die too. One of you will die, and maybe a couple of you will be in the hospital. I will kill you if you break into my house. I don't have a gun. So they have machetes. Okay, fine. I'll have one. And my training. And I'm going to go like a Wolverine with his nuts in a vice to protect my family. Guess what? New law. Turn in your machetes. I did. I didn't just dump it in the bin outside the police station. I brought it in. Oh, you found that? No, it's self-protection. Did you know it is illegal to protect yourself in Australia? If you have a weapon set up for the idea that someone might break in your house and you use that to defend yourself, you could go to jail. That is the law. You aren't allowed a 1-inch knife, jackknife, illegal. You aren't allowed a screwdriver. Carpenter going to a job. Spray, illegal. I kid you not, folks. This guy had pepper spray illegally. And they broke into his house. We know who they are. He sprayed them and survived. They sued him. The prosecutors went after him. You know what the judge said? They let him off with a warning and probation. Well, you knew this substance was illegal. You are not allowed to have pepper spray. You knew it and did it anyway. So you've been warned. They literally want you to curl up into a ball and let them hack you to death with no fight. My friend who's a Catholic priest, he's had dealings with all these police because of his work. And the local police, most of them don't even have guns anymore. They are like customer service. Oh, we've got to arrest Brad. Ooh, he might resist. He was mentioned in the parliament. We'll use our arrest task force outsider, and he will be arrested 3 p.m. Wednesday. We couldn't do it. Well, we might get hurt. It might get messy. Most police you see in Australia, if you see them with their light blue uniforms and all that, they've never made an arrest in their lives. They do nothing. They do admin and communicate. There is a special task force that arrests people. They don't want to arrest you. They don't want to arrest people. That's what the special task force is here. I might lose my job. Remember what she said? So, what does that leave us? The police won't help you. In fact, they'll arrest you if you dare to not stick out your neck and let the refugees cut your fucking head off with a machete. You're not allowed to have a pepper spray. You're not allowed to fart in the wrong direction at a criminal. I am saying bring back guns for self-protection to Australia. As I mentioned, the middle way, not extreme, crazy American. That is a nightmare. And the ARs, 15s, and all that. No, you don't need that. A Glock, a 22. My dad used to collect guns. I've been around them. I've killed 2 deer. I've been trained in guns. I don't like to hunt. I like going out into the woods and reading or taking photos. I don't like killing. And now I'm a Buddhist. I would never kill an animal unless I am forced to defend myself. Hay fever, as we're getting warmer and the rest of the world's getting colder. So look, part of Buddhism is you have a life, not just others. You are part of it. We're all interconnected. Your own life is valuable. Your family's life is valuable. We need guns back to protect ourselves from this crime wave. What I think is sane is you're allowed 1 gun if you're over 21, maybe 18 in some cases. I don't know. Those are details we can work out later. It has to be in a safe. Now, if you are having a gun for self-protection, there are special safes, I believe, where it's fingerprint recognition or something like that, where you can open it within, a second. So have that next to your bed. Safety off. Boom. You've got to protect. They're going to break in. And you should also, I'm happy to have, like I said, training every year, tax that. Tax the guns up the wazoo. That's fine. I'll pay. I'm already paying your stupid traffic fines for going 1 mile per hour over every fucking 5 months. So fuck you. Happy to pay for something that can protect me. Training once every, 5 years, 3 years, an intense one, and then a checkup every 3 years or something. If you have, if you're on medication for mental health, no, you can't have a gun in your house. Fine. If you've committed a felony or, domestic abuse or whatever, no, you can't have a gun. And believe me, those machete attacks will end. All right. Now these guys, they're going to get guns anyway. All right. But these kids, most of these people are, going to be able to buy a gun. As for being able to come into somebody's house anytime, I give that up to have that gun, as long as it wasn't excessive. If it's random and they're limited, maybe once every 6 months they're allowed to, and they wouldn't be able to get everybody anyway. Maybe something like that. Just to protect my family, I might have to give up that American feeling. I know the Americans' heads are exploding. They would never, but I am in a country of pussies. Absolute feminized, feminist, woke dipshits. Now, they are so far removed from reality. Like, academia here is insane. Every other fucker has a doctorate. I couldn't get a teaching job in the fine arts because I didn't have a doctorate. And when I said, we kind of laugh at artists who have a doctorate because it's lame and unnecessary, they're like, oh, why? totally clueless. They're horrible as well. Just to slip that in there. No bitterness, as if here. Anyway, the point is the academia here is its own thing, and it's connected. It feeds this woke crap into the government. Here's another thing my priestly friend, the Catholic priest, said, is that for the past 15 years, it's been the same government, this very, liberal type of government. Part of it is there are so many government and less effective and more about how do we screw the people we're actually getting money from. Don't protect them, exploit them on the highways. We do nothing to investigate, make them investigate. So as an American and an Australian, this is a perspective of frustration that we have got to do something about. Now, I have, I'm not a Trumper, but the Democratic Party is so ineffective. I've left it. I have voted every election. My birthday, which is today, I just forgot. November 3rd is my birthday. 1990, Al Gore. What's his name? Here, I voted Democrat. I was in the same room with Barack Obama with 50 other people before anybody else. Hold on. I have someone at the door. Get the balls from the truck. Lock the truck. Okay. Yeah, I was just attacked. Luckily, I have something else near the door, so I was able to beat them off, and they're not coming back. No, my son returning from some tennis stuff. So what was I saying? The government, yeah, they're all connected to the politicians, the wokeness. I was mentioning, what I'm trying to say is I've been a liberal my whole life. Despise Trump. I don't despise him now. I see him as a pitiful outgrowth of stupidity of the Americans. So as a Buddhist, we aim for the middle way. And I think allowing us to have guns back, clear self-defense, clear, what is it called? Dominion, my castle type. If you break into my house, I have a right to, if you won't leave and you're endangering my life or my family's, I have a right to kill you. No question. Here they want everything is this bleeding heart for. I don't think they understand violence. I don't think they understand psychopathy. These are barely humans, some of them. And they, there's a video, it is heart-wrenching, from a couple weeks ago. Two boys, yes, they were South Sudanese. One was like 19 and his brother was like 12 or something. We're playing basketball at night. And who is this? Chased down by 5 fucking gang members with machetes and killed on camera, hacked to death with machetes. Near my house, I mean, within 5 miles. We can't go out at night like that. When are the Australian people going to say enough is enough? When I was growing up, I thought my introduction to, Australians was Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, we called it. Here they called it Mad Max 2. Not messing around. Crocodile Dundee. What a joke. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Here, you're not allowed a butter knife that's an inch long. That's the outback. That's where the real men are. They were. They're probably, that's over too. Nowadays, I mean, when I was here, like the second year or so I was here, I'm on there's a big road near the casino where I worked nearby, and I got some breakfast, and I was crossing the street. Literally, I couldn't see any cars a quarter of a mile to my right, a quarter mile to my left. Nothing. No trams, nothing. There's a red man flashing. Everybody just stops, and like lemmings sitting there. Oh, fuck you. I start crossing the road, of course, right into 2 cops on bicycles. Hey, you crossed against the red man. I'm like, there's no cars around here. We don't want to send a letter to your, make a phone call to your mother scraping you off the road. I'm like, I grew up on a street 10 times as busy running through. I go, and there's nothing here. They ticketed me. And all the little lemmings sat back. That's what an Australian is today. They call it a nanny state. They've been saying nanny state for 30 years. Nanny state is where the government is your mother, and you do what she says, and they're into every little thing. Okay, then stand up and do something about it. Protest. Where are the protests? We want to keep our machetes. We want, in fact, F you. We're going to go to guns now. We want our guns back, motherfucker. Yeah, there was a massacre in Tasmania, Port Arthur. 20-odd years ago. They made a law, collected all the guns. Of course, they didn't. And destroyed them. And we aren't allowed to have them. But there's still shootings. There's still mafia, mobs. There's illegal guns. But the people who need them the most to defend their house, why can't we have them back? Why don't you demand that we get them back? And the media, where are you? Here's their story on machetes. Machetes will be banned on September, blah, blah, blah. This is in response to the crime wave, blah, blah, blah. Some are questioning the merits of this will have an actual effect on crime. That's the reporting. How about all you're doing is letting people who need to defend themselves be totally defenseless? In fact, let's do a big story on why we can't even have pepper spray. Why can't we have anything to defend ourselves? Why is it here geared to help the criminal and protect the criminal who invades your home? They're more protected. Media, why don't you say anything? Where are the leaders that stand up and go, this is crazy, fucking crazy? So the police won't help you. The government won't help you. And then look what the community does. I'll finish by going back to the beginning. The neighbors help coordinate the car getting stolen of my friend. The neighbors with a whorehouse next to children did nothing. I had to do everything and risk my own life. If we don't have police to help us, if we don't have the government to help us, and we don't have community to help us, it is Mad Max. You are on your own. I don't know if tactical tomahawks, look them up. I don't know if that's legal to have for self-defense next to your door. I just don't know if that's legal. Maybe look into that. Have a Rottweiler or German Shepherd or two. I have the brightest light in the entire neighborhood and probably region. They were kind of joking. I'm like, well, because the guys who did our security cameras, I heard he had mentioned security lights. His brother did. So I invited him over, and I'm like, well, what's the biggest one? Well, this is the biggest, most legal one. It's brighter. It seems brighter than the sun. And but it's the most expensive, and and I'm like, yeah, I'll get that. He goes, he didn't believe me. He's, oh, so you want the medium? No, I want that mother. I've got videos of refugees coming up our driveway, looking at our car, and then looking up and seeing the red light of our camera and running away. This was years ago, though. Creepy, like crouched down, and then my wife pulled into our driveway, and he stood up and just walked away. So if you're here, grow some balls. If you agree or disagree, say something in the chat. Please like, subscribe. We are in Australia. I think maybe we are the future. Maybe we are the future. And I used to think that was a good thing. Yeah, we still got our healthcare right now is amazing compared to anywhere else. The weather is beautiful. The land is beautiful. Most of the people are beautiful. There is a bad element. We created it. The government here in Victoria is disgusting, out of touch, in a fantasy world, bent toward hurting and turning into victims, people that are defending themselves. I guess a couple weeks ago, a guy used a baseball bat and injured some of these home invaders. It's a big thing now. What they're doing is breaking in and threatening people, getting their car keys and stealing the cars. You know what the police said? Leave the keys by the door so when they break in, they can just take the key and leave. Do you think I'm joking? Look it up. I am not joking with you. That is the police solution. Leave your keys near the door so when they break in, they can just take your car and maybe they won't kill you on their way out. So this video, it's about Australia, but it's also about government interference. It's about wokeism stemming from academia, spreading through the government, a fantasy land where they invite these war-torn refugees to come. And I don't know what the stat is. I'll say 90% of them are wonderful. We had a family nearby. It's like 3 families in one big house. We've got one up the road and down a bit. They work. There is some integration, joke around with neighbors. I've talked to them. It's just that small percentage, I don't know how small it is, of usually male, uneducated, drunk, jobless, no hope. So they join gangs. That's what happens. And they commit crime, bad crime, with machetes, hacking people to death in our streets of Melbourne. The police won't do anything. The government doesn't care. And our own communities. Now, this is where religion comes in. I'm a practicing Buddhist. I believe Christ is an embodiment of compassion. So I have an altar, sort of a Gnostic altar here. And that's and I've got an altar to Set. Set is a war god from ancient Egypt. We're at war. So damn right. I've got the balanced middle way here. And I live that in my spiritual life. And I'm demanding it in a world of politics, not just Australia, but around the world. We're losing rights. The community is getting broken apart. I hate that word community, but I'm talking about looking out for your fucking neighbor. Since the pandemic here, hide in your house, cut off. It's their problem. It's their problem until they break through your front door. You don't have a gun. You have no dogs. You have no pepper spray. You don't have no lights or cameras. Then where are you? You're a victim. You're going to die. And that's what you want until you do something. I don't know what to do. I'm at wit's end of this. Have I given up? No, because I'm making this fucking video. What am I supposed to do? Get a sign and run around the streets by myself? Share this fucking video. Make a community watch. Stand up to the ineffective police. Demand they do their jobs. Demand, go to Parliament. I'll be there. Let me know. They've used my name in Parliament. The guy who used my name, within a year, they kicked him out. Bernie Finn. He's a nutter. But I love him because you know why? He's the only fucking one that ever stood up and said, there's children here, do something. It's not hard. Do I want to leave Australia? No. Will I? If this just keeps progressing, I'll leave Victoria, get away from this city. I am about to. Between the traffic fines, the cameras everywhere, the horrible policing, the crime wave after crime wave and insanity and no one doing anything, and these stupid politicians, these soccer mom, woke bullshitters doing nothing while people are in fear on the streets. These used to be beautiful streets. Well, I give up on, I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. But until the Australian citizen grows some fucking balls and gets angry enough to demand in the street guns return, refugees who commit crime sent back to fucking South Sudan or imprisoned, fuck them. Police fired. New police commission brought in to kick fucking ass on criminals, violent criminals, sex exploitation. It's my birthday and my wife's here with my cake. Stay safe. Get angry. Share this video. Like, subscribe. Thank you.